YouTubers, this is Jarret from fakeshemp.net and this is the first collection update. It's hopefully going to be a regular occurrence once a month where I'll go through all the titles I've picked up on DVD and Blu-ray and quickly talk through them, maybe even where I acquired them from. Glenn's been very kind in allowing me to sully the good fakeshemp.net name by doing this, so let's hope it works out. Okay, the first lot of titles I've got to go through are 3 that I picked up at a second spin location in Costa Mesa, California. Second Spin is an awesome secondhand DVD and Blu-ray website. You can also pick up games and CDs there. But yeah, whenever I'm in the States, I try and visit one of their bricks and mortar stores, which is kind of hard because there's only 2 physical locations in California and 1 in Colorado. So yeah, anyway, these were picked up in Costa Mesa. First up is the Spike Lee Joint Collection Volume 1, which has 25th Hour and He Got Game. First time to Blu-ray, and they're in a double pack together. They're on individual Blu-rays, by the way. I've read reviews saying that the transfers are pretty damn good, and 25th Hour is the main reason I bought it. Great film with Ed Norton, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and it's got all the DVD features ported over, plus a new commentary track by Spike Lee. He Got Game, I only ever watched once on video, haven't seen it since, so I'm curious to revisit it, but yeah, the main driver for purchasing it was 25th Hour. The Second Spin also has really good deals online, typically anywhere between 20 to 40% off titles, and that's, you know, a coupon code you use at the checkout, and sometimes they offer free shipping to Australia, which is pretty good too. In store on this particular day, they had buy 2 items and get 30% off your total purchase, so I think I paid about $9 maybe for this double pack, and that said, it's actually factory sealed from the supplier, so yeah, it's a bonus. The second one is the Volume 2 pack, which has Summer of Sam and The Miracle of Santillana. I haven't seen The Miracle of Santillana, but I have seen Summer of Sam. I love it. I think it's a great film. Good that it's finally made it to Blu-ray. It's got a commentary track with Spike Lee and John Leguizamo. Typically, John Leguizamo is not the kind of... there's something about him that irritates me, but he's very good in this film. And there are some exceptions. He's been great in some other films too. But yeah, typically, I don't like him. But again, $9. Very happy to have Summer of Sam on Blu-ray. Next one up is Kingdom Hospital, which is, from memory, loosely based on the Lars von Trier miniseries, The Kingdom. And I don't know what Stephen King did for this. I don't know if he adapted it for American audiences or whether he just produced it. In any case, I've been meaning to check it out for a while, and at $3.99, less than 30%, I couldn't refuse. It was so cheap. So looking forward to getting into that. I think it's like a 4-disc set and runs at about 608 minutes in total. So yeah, going to have to dedicate some time to that sooner or later. Next up are 2 more secondhand Blu-rays I picked up. These I picked up at another Second Spin location in Sherman Oaks. And that's the Alien vs Predator Blu-ray double pack, which has AVP 1 and AVP 2 Requiem. I saw the first one theatrically, thought it was a turd. I've never seen the second one. I've heard really mixed things. In most instances, I think I pretty much heard that it was worse than the first. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in a huge hurry to revisit the first, but I'm keen to see the second. And look, I own all the Predator and Alien films on Blu-ray, so it was kind of a collection filler, just needing to fill that gap. And yeah, it was like, I think $4.99, less than 30%, so it worked out maybe about $1.50 a disc after tax. That was pretty cheap. Next up is the remake of Last House on the Left with Aaron Paul in it, Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad. Saw this one when it first came out, and I really dug it. I thought it was, in fact, better than the original. I don't know if that's sort of sacrilege to say, but I mean, Last House on the Left, the original, has its place. But I really enjoyed the remake, so I'm keen to actually revisit it. There is some reasonably disturbing sequences in it. I actually really don't like rape in movies. I find it really unsettling and disturbing. That said, the revenge aspect of this film is quite good, so yeah, I'm keen to check it out again. Next up is another 2 secondhand titles that I picked up at a secondhand, essentially a secondhand bookstore in Honolulu in Hawaii. It was in a shopping centre there, and yeah, they did secondhand DVDs and Blu-rays. I picked up One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest on Blu-ray, which I actually don't own on DVD or Blu-ray. It's been one of those ones I've been meaning to get, and yeah, picked it up in the really lovely digibook packaging, and it was super cheap. It cost me like $7, which is, yeah, really cheap for the digibook release of this film. Did watch it as soon as we got back from the honeymoon and absolutely loved it. It had been probably more than 15 years since I saw it last. And God, the film was really, really, really good. Stuck with me for days, so really happy to have it in the collection. Next one up is a bit of a strange one. It's the Arrow release of Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Still have the Blue Underground DVD, but I never picked this up when it was released in the limited slip. And for some reason, obviously some customer sold off their second-hand copy of it, and I was happy to pick it up because I don't know how much it goes for on eBay, but I know it's not easy to come by with the particular slip, and I don't have it on Blu-ray, so yeah, adding that one to the collection. Okay, so next up is actually a couple titles I picked up from Second Spin online before we left for the trip, and they arrived whilst we were away. Taps with Tom Cruise, Sean Penn, Timothy Hutton, and of course George C. Scott. Pretty cool film. Had it on DVD. Now I've just upgraded to Blu-ray. I think it may be Tom Cruise's second film. Correct me if I'm wrong. After Endless Love, I can't remember, but he's very young in it. And the Blu-ray's actually got some special features which the DVD didn't. Next one, Sexy Beast. Great film with Ben Kingsley. Like honestly, genuinely, what should have been an Academy Award-winning performance. Really, really, really keen to check this out again. Was inspired to pick it up because Twilight Time released the Blu-ray in the US, and of course their prices are pretty outlandish for a Blu-ray. I was happy to have it on DVD, and when it cost me probably about $1.10 on DVD, that was more than satisfactory for me. Then Revenge of the Nerds on Blu-ray, which I did actually have the triple pack with Guys Being Guys, which had like Bachelor Party, Revenge of the Nerds, and Porky's, but I picked up the UK Arrow release of Porky's, and I revisited Bachelor Party and it just didn't hold up for me. But Revenge of the Nerds, absolute classic, so it was an essential Blu-ray upgrade. Okay, so next up are two titles I picked up at Best Buy again in Honolulu. Crocodile Dundee 1 and 2. Not available on Blu-ray in Australia, it's ridiculous. Two Australian films, essentially Australian films, and I believe there's some rights haggle here, so yeah, Fox no longer own the rights to them in Australia, and Paramount don't have a license to them, but Paramount in the US do have a license, and they release them as a double pack. Heard mixed things about the transfer on these two, but look, I don't own them on DVD, and it was I think it was about $9, $10 to buy the double pack on Blu-ray, and that was a great price. So yeah, looking forward to revisiting those. Then Mrs. Doubtfire on Blu-ray. Unfortunately, Robin Williams has recently passed, and he passed whilst we were in the US, so Best Buy cashed in by filling one of their dump bins or trestle kind of bin table things, whatever they want to call it, toward the front of the store, and they had it on Blu-ray for $5. It's one of my wife's favourite films, and it's a classic, and so yeah, I figured it was an essential Blu-ray upgrade for $5. Great film. Okay, so the next bunch of releases are all imports as well. First up is The Sacrament, Ty West's fourth film. I think it's his fourth film. I enjoyed it. It just wasn't Innkeepers or House of the Devil or The Roost for me. It was still very good, and it was an interesting direction that he's kind of pursued, and it kind of opens up his filmmaking to be not just genre films, but potentially other type of cinema as well. For the most part, I enjoyed it. It probably didn't live up to expectation. I'm really keen to see the special features. I think he's a great filmmaker and he's got a big future ahead of him. Picked up on Blu-ray in the US because sadly it's only getting a DVD release in Australia, and it's hard to know whether it's even going to have any of the extra content the US release does. So yeah, I think I paid about $18 for it brand new from Best Buy. Okay, so next one up, Jacob's Ladder. Wow, what a film. You know, I saw this film when I was young, loved it, revisited it probably in my teens, loved it, revisited it in my early 20s, loved it, and now I'm in my early to mid 30s. I've just watched it again, picked it up for $5 at Target there, and it'd been one that I'd been wanting to revisit. We had it on a Netflix queue, and unfortunately I think they lost the license to it, so it left, and I've been meaning to pick it up. So $5, couldn't refuse, watched it the other night, and wow, it's still a mind bender. It's a terrific film. Tim Robbins is fantastic in it, and it's a genuine surprise from the director Adrian Lyne, because the films he typically directs are erotic kind of thriller dramas like Fatal Attraction and Indecent Proposal. But yeah, what a film. Really, really good, and I can't wait to watch the documentary on it, and I think there's possibly some deleted scenes on there as well. Okay, so next up is one title I picked up through Amazon in an order, Curtains, being released by Synapse recently. They've done a 2K restoration of it, which is interesting because I never thought this film would see the light of day on DVD, let alone a 2K restoration on Blu-ray. Haven't seen it for a number of years. I think last time I saw it was on a bootleg with my sister, and I wasn't super sold on it, but yeah, I really want to see it again, so yeah, seeing it on Blu-ray, why not? And there's a bunch of special features I'm quite keen to check out. Next one is Leviathan. I think it was about 89 that this film came out. It was during that wave of underwater sci-fi action type extravaganzas like The Abyss, Deep Space Nine, and then the Leviathan, with Peter Weller in the lead, and it's also got Ernie Hudson in it. Who else is in there? What's his name? The name is eluding me. Passed away now, unfortunately. Richard Crenna. Yeah, anyway, I actually did revisit this, and I never liked it. I didn't hate it as a kid. I was just pumped for it, and then when it finally came out, it just didn't live up to expectation. I think I was wanting... I wanted it to be what I thought it was going to be, which is what it was trying to be, essentially a cross between Aliens and The Thing, and it succeeds in neither way. It's a kind of strange hybrid of the two, and upon revisiting it, it's really well shot. There's a great score. The performances are pretty good, but the prosthetic sort of animatronics and makeup effects and creature design are just pretty lame. There's a really good doco though on this release with the special the special effects team, which was one of Stan Winston's team. They worked from his workshop on the film, and that was interesting. And there's an interview with Hector Elizondo and Ernie Hudson on it. So the special features were interesting, but it's probably not something I'm going to keep for the collection. In two minds about it. Next one up is another Scream Factory release, The Legend of Hell House, a horror from England from about 73. This is a cool film. This is a very cool film. It doesn't obviously have the jump scares it once had, but it has an eeriness and an atmosphere that's akin to probably the Vincent Price House on Haunted Hill, except not as sort of dated and cheesy. It's quite good, and it's got a really uncomfortable entity rape scene, which is kind of awkward, but it also has this gold line in it, something along the lines of something you think you're hot stuff, you piece of shit. I can't remember, but anyway, the line is really good. And this is a pretty cool release. It has a pretty decent interview with the director. Obviously, I haven't listened to the commentary yet, but yeah, cool film. Legend of Hell House. Next one up. Now, it's weird because I did say earlier I'm not comfortable with rape films, rape revenge kind of genre films. And I was, in two minds about buying this, but the price was right. And look, I think the actress is beautiful. I think the score's incredible, and it's a very unsettling film. There's a documentary actually about the actress on here, which I'm really keen to check out. She didn't really do too many films. I think she did this and another film, and that was about it. It was one of those films I always wanted to see as a kid because there were scenes in it scenes in it in Terror in the Isles, scenes from it in Terror in the Isles, rather. And then when I eventually did see it, it was like, oh, well, this is what I wanted to see. Anyway, I'm keen to revisit it because maybe maybe it's softened over the years, but it's Abel Ferrara, so it should be an interesting watch. Okay, so next up is a film that I had an opportunity to check out on the big screen during Melbourne International Film Festival this year, and it's William Friedkin's Sorcerer. Sorry, I'm speaking so fast because I'm trying to get through this so that I don't end up doing like a half an hour video. That and the wife wants to cook dinner, and I'm hogging up the dining room. So, Sorcerer on Blu-ray. Digibook, sadly there's no special features on this, but it's a lovely package, and I can't wait any longer for it to be released in some spectacular special edition by Criterion, which it rightly deserves. But this film is just something else. It was the first time I saw it at MIF this year, and I was spellbound. It was in my mind for days afterward. We don't make films like this anymore. Absolutely incredible Sorcerer. So really happy to have that on Blu-ray. Next one up, completely different track to Bruno Mattei films, The Hell of the Living Dead, as it was known on video, I think in Australia, maybe Night of the Zombies, I'm pretty sure, and then Rats, Nights of Terror. I liked Night of the Zombies or Hell of the Living Dead as a kid, revisited it on the, I think it was Anchor Bay DVD a number of years ago, and yeah, it just didn't hold up, but Rats, Nights of Terror, I have vague memories of, but I'm more keen to see the special feature content on there than the films themselves. But I'm definitely going to give Hell of the Living Dead another go because I loved it as a kid. So yeah, maybe there's something there for me. Next one up is undisputed classic, well, in my books, Brian De Palma's Phantom of the Paradise, my favourite of De Palma's films. I call his magnum opus, from 74 I think it was. So it's roughly a 40th anniversary edition. I haven't cracked the plastic on this, and I really want to watch the special features. There's some great extra content that's on this that wasn't on the Arrow release, and likewise stuff that's on the Arrow that's not on the Scream Factory. This is the kind of title I need to own 2 copies of. I need to own this Scream Factory version and the Arrow version, because too much is never enough. Phantom of the Paradise, what a film. Okay, next up, Motel Hell, another title I actually own the Arrow version of. It's kitschy, it's fun, it's camp, it's over the top, it's hilarious, it's bizarre, it's something else, and the artwork on this is terrific. The newly commissioned art. I'm going to watch through all the special feature content and weigh up whether I need to keep both the Arrow and this, and then decide. But there's a good chance I will, because I do have a huge soft spot for Motel Hell in my heart. Next one up is the Austin Powers triple pack. Of the Austin Powers films, I only have the first on DVD, and they're the kind of films that I enjoyed when they came out, and then had a lot of difficulty ever watching again, because they became such a big part of pop culture that people were reciting lines everywhere you went, and it was unescapable. And I don't know. But that said, I think it's been long enough. I don't hear the phrases that often, particularly from anyone that's under sort of 50. Then I'm wanting to go back and watch them again, because they're all very funny films. I even enjoyed the last one, which people seem to kind of shit on, but I'm really keen to check him out again. And I miss Mike Myers. The guy doesn't really do films anymore, so it'll be good to see him doing this. Next one up is Vamp, which is the Arrow release, if it's in focus. I hope this video is in focus. Vamp's one of those kind of trashy 80s horror comedies that I have a tremendous soft spot for, from that mid-80s roadshow era of the stuff they were putting out around the time of House and a few other classic titles. I got the Anchor Bay DVD, so I decided to upgrade to the Arrow Blu-ray, mainly for the special features, but keen to watch that one in high definition. Video Nasties, which is the second documentary, the sequel to the first one, which I can't recall the name. It was Video Nasties, and then there was some sort of subtitle underneath. First doco was fantastic, and I've just started watching this. I'm probably about 50 minutes into it, and it's just as good. Really, really good viewing. Thing I like about this is, apart from the documentary, there's always an abundance of extra material. In it, you get sort of like kind of lobby card sets of the poster art of some of the banned films, the Video Nasties, and then there's typically all the trailers or a bunch of trailers of the Video Nasties. I think this actually has the entire 82 video or films that were deemed Video Nasties by the British Censorship Board in the era. So anyway, looking forward to watching the rest of that, and it's a terrific package. They're individually numbered, and might I add, I did order this as soon as it went up on pre-order, and somehow I've got close to the 6,666. I don't know why, but anyway, that's just what happens. Next one up is a classic, one of my favourite films of all time. Not my favourite Joe Dante film, we can talk about that later, but one of my favourite, and this is a beautiful steelbook release that they've put together, and Arrow's gone all out with the special feature content on there. I believe there's a work print from Joe Dante's personal collection, a feature-length documentary, an abundance of material. I can't wait to get into this, and I'm pretty sure Glenn and I are going to discuss this film at length on one of our forthcoming podcasts. I'm pretty excited about that, because it's always good to talk to a fellow fan of this film. Such an underrated classic, The Burbs. Next one up is a Zavvi exclusive of The Toxic Avenger. Look, I grew up on Troma films. Troma's not what it once was for me, but the vintage Troma stuff, the original Toxic Avenger, and even the sequels, The Class of Nukem High, the original, and even the first 2 sequels from the era of Troma, I really love and can still love. Zavvi's put out this beautiful steelbook, which I haven't cracked yet, but I'm looking forward to opening. Completely uncut, print in high def, with all the special features that have been previously released, plus some new content, I believe, also. So really excited to have the Toxic Avenger on Blu-ray. Then the last import title is City of the Living Dead. This is the Arrow Steelbook release. Already had it on the Arrow Blu-ray with the slipcase, but I kind of went, I bought the Beyond Steelbook because it looks so awesome, and the City of the Living Dead likewise looks so incredible that I thought, man, I'm just going to round out the collection, and hopefully they'll do House by the Cemetery soon in Steelbook. But yeah, See the Living Dead, one of the weirdest kind of horror films. It's just so nonsensical but awesome at the same time, and the score is just, it kind of hovers between irritating and awesome. I don't know how you achieve that, but this film certainly does. City of the Living Dead, a Lucio Fulci classic. Okay, so the next bunch of titles that I've got are all local release titles that I've acquired in the last month. First up is the second season of In the Flesh. If you haven't seen this series, you should be watching it. It aired here in Australia on SBS, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, it's just a great series. You know, everyone's doing the zombie thing. Well, the Brits are doing it with a genuine originality. It's a very cool concept, and it's done so well. And I recommend you to check it out if you haven't seen it, In the Flesh. This is the second season, and yeah, I believe it's been greenlit for a third. Next up is Umbrella's release of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 40th anniversary edition, which has amazing cover art. They've used the print poster that they used for the South by Southwest screening earlier this year. And it's ported over all the special features from the previous DVD and Blu-ray release, plus some new content as well. I think it's pretty much got everything the US release does, except maybe some new found deleted scenes, but to be honest, this is all I need. And yeah, I think Umbrella's done a terrific job packaging it. Looks fantastic. Okay, so next one up is an Australian horror from Monster Pictures called Beckoning the Butcher. I've heard really, really good things about this. I haven't seen it. Played Monster Fest last year, but I think it played a pretty late session, and I was at Monster Fest so many nights that it was just hard to stay another night until like 11:30 to see it. But I've heard great things. I'm pretty sure this one was shot in Victoria too. So yeah, looking forward to checking out Beckoning the Butcher. Next one from memory is an Italian film. I saw this at Monster Fest last year, and it's really quite bizarre. It's a very artistic horror film. The producer of the film was actually there at Monster Fest and did an introduction, a bit of a Q&A after the film, which was cool. And yeah, like it's a very different type of horror film. It's quite psychological, but it's quite beautiful at the same time. Strange, it's a pity it didn't get a Blu-ray release because the cinematography is absolutely stunning, and that's probably the strongest point. But this film has atmosphere, loads of atmosphere. Unfortunately, with the local art, they've jazzed it up and made it look a little bit more horror than it is, and kind of ruined a bit of, not the twist element, but part of the story by putting the two girls on the front. But anyway, cool film, across the river. Next one up is Sabotage, which I haven't got around to viewing yet, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Look, Arnie's made some amazing films, and he's made some pretty average films too, but I've heard a lot of people rag on this one, but honestly it's Arnold, and I didn't go theatrical, so I thought I've got to pick it up and watch it in high def. So I'm honestly looking forward to watching it, and I think the wife's just as keen as I am. Sabotage. Next one up is the new local release of Fargo. This is a newly remastered, sourced from 4K print version of Fargo, and revisited this on Sunday night after having viewed the series as it aired on SBS, and this movie is every bit as good as you remember it. I think it's probably every couple of years I revisit this film, and it was good to see it in a newly remastered print. It looks terrific, and the film is just incredible. It's just timeless. Great film. Great TV series too, and I believe that's coming out locally in October, the TV series. Next one up is Aaron Aronofsky's Noah. Again, haven't seen this one, didn't get to see it theatrically, but Darren Aronofsky rarely makes a false step with me. Loved everything he's done, and yeah, even though it's a biblical kind of adaptation, that's not going to concern me. I'm very keen to check out Noah. Next one up is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Again, haven't seen this one, but yeah, I've liked the Marvel adaptation so far. Captain America, the original, the first Avenger, I was a bit on the fence about, but I've heard the sequel's really good, and this steelbook is phenomenal. So yeah, I've bought it in hopes that I'm really going to enjoy it, and I've got a feeling I will. So looking forward to watching that one. Next one up is Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is more just for the collection, for when I revisit the first Amazing Spider-Man, because I actually really liked the first Amazing Spider-Man. I think it was arguably better than any of the Raimi Spider-Mans. I mean, Spider-Man 2 by Raimi was awesome, but the first one and the third one particularly, that was utter crap. But Amazing Spider-Man I thought was actually quite good. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. So yeah, I've got the sequel. I saw it at theatres. I thought it was pretty weak. It's called The Rise of Electro. Electro seems like he's in it probably for a total 20-minute screen time. Focuses way too heavily on the romance between Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker. But yeah, look, I've got it, and no doubt I'll definitely obviously watch it. But yeah, it was more just keeping with the collection of the Spider-Man adaptations. Next one up is the Lego Movie. Unfortunately, I missed the boat on the Everything is Awesome special edition locally, which was the Blu-ray 3D plus the Blu-ray plus the digital copy and a collectible character. I think it was Morgan Freeman's character from the film. Saw this at the movies, loved it. It was one of those kind of films that I had no expectation for, or in fact actually had a reasonably low expectation for, and God, it was good. It was so funny, really well animated, and yeah, it was just good fun, and really keen to revisit it. And that song, Everything is Awesome, so infectious, gets in your head. Next one up is a film that I think I could count on one hand, I should say, the amount of people that I know that enjoyed this film. Very few, but I really dug it. And this honestly, I had so low expectations for. I thought it was going to be turd. I like Seth MacFarlane stuff. I like Family Guy, American Dad. I don't watch them religiously, but if they're on, I'll watch them. I wasn't a fan of Ted. It just didn't really do much for me. A lot of people dug it. This, however, was so funny. It was just so un-PC, really pushed the envelope. It was just great. Everything about it was really good. Some even, I think Glenn wasn't hugely sold on Liam Neeson, thought he phoned it in a bit. I thought he was good. Charlize Theron was fantastic. Seth MacFarlane, kind of beguiling looking at him because he kind of looks too plastic to be real. Looks like one of his own animated characters, but he's hilarious in it, and the chemistry between him and Charlize is terrific. It was all round really good, and it was good to see Sarah Silverman play against type by playing a prostitute, but a really, prostitute with a heart of gold, and just, she was great. It was really good to see her, and Giovanni Ribisi, terrific as always. But yeah, I really like this. Bit of an underdog for the film for the year, and it might even make my top 10. Next one up is Divergent. Yeah, it was good. Another teenage dystopian action type film. But for the most part, I enjoyed it, and adding it to the collection. It's no Hunger Games, but it's something, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good fun. And then last Blu-ray of all the Blu-rays is Justified Season 5 on Blu-ray. This is a great series. I haven't got through Season 3 yet, but I'm getting there. It's a process. It's such a slow burn series, but it's definitely worth backing. Timothy Olyphant's in it. I don't know if Patton Oswalt returns for this season, but yeah, it's a cool series. I'm looking forward to checking out the 5th season. Sadly, I think the local Blu-ray doesn't port across any of the special features from the US release, and I think it's because we actually got this before them, strangely. Okay, so that's all the DVDs and Blu-rays I've purchased throughout the month of August and the first 15 odd days of September. But the last two things I'm going to show you aren't DVDs or Blu-rays, they're vinyl. And the first one up is the Creepshow soundtrack. This is from Waxwork Records in the US. I actually don't know what colour I ended up getting. It was a bit of a lucky dip for colour-wise, so I won't know till I open it, and I probably won't open it till I'm ready to listen to it. And then I also picked up the Chopping Mall soundtrack, which Waxwork released also. Love Chopping Mall, what a great film. Dick Miller's hilarious in it, and the score's pretty cool. And another one that I probably won't open until I'm ready to listen to it, but this artwork is just incredible, really cool stuff. Waxwork's doing some great things for genre cinema soundtracks in the US, as is Death Waltz in the UK. So yeah, pretty happy to add them to the horror vinyl collection. Anyway, that's it for all the purchases from August and September in this September update. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please comment below if you've got any questions about any of the titles, or if you feel the need to correct me, please do. I no doubt made some kind of goof at some point in this. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next month.